Hi, everybody. Today we're going to talk about one of the 11 criteria of processed food addiction, relationship problems. Listen to these quotes. I'm too tired from eating processed foods to play with my kids in the evening. Or, I miss a lot of work going to doctor's appointments. I wish I could just clean up my diet and improve my health, but I always fail. Or, my performance at work is declining. I spend all day going back and forth to the break room and vending machines. I never get anything accomplished. Can you relate to any of these statements? Maybe not. No one wants to admit that they're not the best parent or employee. There's one thing we can agree on. You would feel better physically, mentally, and emotionally if you weren't addicted to processed foods. You would be more present and engaged in all your relationships. Relationship problems are the fifth criteria for processed food addiction, according to Dr. Joan Ifland. She's a food addiction specialist and the author of the textbook Processed Food Addiction. Recurrent processed food use results in a failure to fulfill major role obligations at work, school, or home. Lower productivity among the obese is established in the research literature. I was watching a movie last night with Katie Holmes in it. She was chatting with her daughter in the kitchen. She got a pint of ice cream out of the freezer and ate it straight out of the container with a spoon. She didn't offer her daughter any, which I thought was a bit weird. She took about 4 mouthfuls, put the lid back on, put it back in the freezer, and sauntered down the hall. Back in the day, I would have eaten the whole pint in one sitting. I wouldn't have shared it with the kid either. Then after the sugar crash, I would be a major bitch for the rest of the day, probably sitting on the couch, watching TV and thinking about what I was going to eat next. Processed food addiction affects our relationships in many ways. There's a loss of concentration and a loss of focus, either from our bodies trying to detoxify or our brain screaming that it needs a fix. There is brain fog the next day, requiring coffee or some other caffeinated beverage to clear the fog. You don't listen to people as well. I mean, really listen. Your brain is busy planning what you need to buy or eat next. For example, it's late in the day and your boss is talking to you, but you don't hear them, okay? Because in your head, you're planning what you're going to treat yourself with for working so hard. You totally lack energy. If it wasn't for caffeine and sugar to keep you going during the day, you wouldn't have any energy at all. But surprisingly, you still have energy to go to the store or drive through. This is where your relationship with your family suffers the most. The addiction will make you use up your precious energy to get your fix. It will leave you with nothing left for your family. No playing, no meaningful talks, no precious, joyful moments. This is super sad. But you could turn it all around in a week. That's all it would take to feel so much better. Your body and brain need nutrient-rich, live foods to thrive. In just a few days on a whole food plant-based diet, you would have much better concentration and focus, so you will work better and have the ability to listen again. No more brain fog, greatly increased energy from real food, a calmer brain, as your food addiction voice will be a little quieter each day that you don't partake. And best of all, you'll feel really good about yourself. You've taken the first step to being the worker, student, or parent you want to be. That's it for today. If you want to take that first step and don't know how to start, check out my website for my book and my courses. Keep your eyes peeled for the sixth criteria, failure to fulfill roles, which will be coming out in the next couple of days. Thanks for watching.